Hello everyone, welcome to the channel of Algocamp. So now on this particular channel, we are actually releasing a series on data structures and algorithms where we are going to talk about some of the most important data structures and algorithmic topics which are extremely important for your upcoming software engineering interviews. Apart from that, these are some of the I would say topics that are very helpful in your day-to-day engineering job as well. We have already released a couple of series around searching, right? And we got a really good response on that. And from here, we are going to put really some awesome content around DSA. In most of these lectures, we will try to ensure that we focus on the intuition building aspect of the things, that how you are able to think about something, what are some of the things that people actually neglect but are going to clear some of the really important fundamentals. We are going to see coding implementation, but trust me, my focus is not going to be on the language delivery aspect of the things, that okay, you have to code this in C++ or Java. A lot of problems we have coded in multiple languages. Maybe some of the problems will be in C++, some will be only in JavaScript. I believe if you are somebody who is preparing for an interview, language in 2025 should not be a constraint, because most of the people can actually use ChatGPT to do language conversions. So my motive here is to make sure that you understand the concept in depth. You actually see how exactly somebody might have thought about the problem when they were carving out the problem, what can be some initial thought process, how you can actually drive yourself towards the solution. I believe these are going to be some really important videos that will be really helpful for your upcoming career. So do let us know what is your feedback. We are going to release a lot of more topics. Do let us know what all topics you want to have first, right? And the feedback is going to be important. Also, in case you are actually thinking to level up, you want to learn things with respect to low-level design, high-level design, overall system design for interviews, or you are somebody who wants to do project development in Spring Boot, you want to learn advanced Spring Boot concepts, or let's say advanced Node.js concepts, then we have a lot of courses, live courses running on algocamp.io. So you can check out the website courses.algocamp.io/learn, and there are a lot of courses that are actually listed. A lot of great discounts are actually going on all the courses as well. Do check them out. For each and every single course, we are going to add you to a dedicated Discord community where you can get your doubts resolved as well. All of the courses, we have made sure that we talk about things from the very beginner to the very advanced level that is going to help you level up in your career as a software engineer. So that being said, let's start the video without any further delay.
Now on a similar pattern, let's solve one more question. Okay. Let's say given an array and an element x, find the index where the first occurrence of x is. Return -1 if there is no occurrence. So what we want is, let's say you have an array 3 1 6 2 8 6 5, and let's say the value of x is 6. So now what do you want? You want to return the first index of 6. There can be multiple occurrences of 6. You want to return the one which comes first. So here the answer will be index 2. See, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So you can see 6 comes at index 2 and index 5 as well, but the first occurrence is at index 2, so you return the index. Okay, and you have to solve this problem, of course, recursively. Now how can you do that? How can you do this question? Again, on a similar pattern, we will try to solve the question. We will say definitely we need the array, because without reading the array, you won't be able to find the element, right? So of course you have to read the array. Maybe not the whole array. We might not need to read the whole array, but we need to read some part of the array, right? So that means some reading of the array is required. And which element to read? X. So definitely we need X also. Okay. And we'll say this function returns.
So before we start this particular video, I wanted to actually talk about a very small thing. So this video is going to actually help you understand a real system design interview scenario. We are going to try to mimic a 45 to 60 minute kind of like a round where we are going to solve a problem very similar to how you will solve a similar system design problem in this short time frame. Now, of course, when you work as a software engineer in a company, you have relatively larger amount of time and you can do a lot of more deep dives in even very small level features. But in an interview, the temperament is different, the approach is different, and a similar scenario is actually explained in this particular video. So do consume the content based on that. Also, if you want to see more deep dives and want to understand these topics in a much more deeper level concepts, then do check out the link in the description section below for our System Design 2.0 cohort, where we have talked about a lot more concepts in a lot more detail, which will make you definitely a better software engineer. So let's just start the video.
First index of occurrence of X. So finally, what do we want? Finally, and technically, in the range idx to n minus 1. So from index idx to n minus 1, it will find the first occurrence of X. So ideally, what do we want? We will call for arr, 0, x. That is in the range 0 to n minus 1. This we will call from main. In the range 0 to n minus 1, we want the first occurrence of X, right? Now just think about it. How can we get it? If you are at any index idx, if you are at some index idx, so currently you can only have access to the current element, right? You only have access to the current element. The remaining elements you have to manually go. Now the thing is, the current element can also be equal to X, right? The current element can also be equal to X, or it is not equal to X. Now, if the current element is equal to X, you don't need to go to the remaining array, right? If the current element is equal to X, you don't need to go to the remaining array, right? As simple as that. So what I'll say is that, let's first of all compare the current element. Comparison of current element we can do ourselves, right? Because we have the access of the current element. So our self work can be compare the current element with X, right? Because maybe the current element is equal to X. So I'll say maybe the current element is equals to X, right? Maybe. If this element is equals to X, can I say my answer is what? IDX, right? If this element is equal to X, my answer is IDX. Otherwise, my answer is f of arr, idx plus 1, x. That is, what is the meaning of this? This is a ternary operator, right? You compare this condition. If this condition is true, you return the first value. If this is false, you return the second value. So what does it say? It says that if you landed at index idx, just think about it. You were coming from index 0, 1, 2, so on and so forth, now at idx. So if you have landed at index idx, that means you were not able to find x before idx, right? You were not able to find x before idx. That's why you are on idx. If you would have found x before or to the left of idx, then you would have never landed on idx. But now because you have landed on idx, that means to the left of idx, x was not present. So either x is present on the current index or maybe something to the right of it. So we will compare, is x present at the current index? Because if x is present at the current index, then your answer is the current index. You don't even need to go further. You don't need to go further, right? There is no point of going further. If you got the answer here, just return from here. But maybe if this value is not equal to x, then what you will do, then you will say, hey, I was not able to find the current x in the current index. So you will delegate your task to the remaining students. You will say, hey folks, can you please check in the remaining array and tell me if in the range idx plus 1 to n minus 1, idx plus 1 to n minus 1, do we have the access to x? So when we delegated the task to the remaining students, we'll say, hey, if anyhow, any cause, somebody can tell me whether x was present in idx plus 1 or not, I will just return that value because I didn't find it here. Whatever you guys will tell me, I will tell it to everyone. What's the base case? The base case will be maybe you never found X. So if index is equal to or greater than or equal to n, that means you traversed the whole array and you were never able to find X. You will return -1. And you can see with the same framework of at least keeping array and IDX, we are able to solve this question, right? If you want to code it, I'll take almost everything from max in an array, right? I'll take everything from here. I'll just paste it here. Then I'll take everything from here, paste it here. Now we don't want max. I'll just change the implementation here. We need X also, int X. I will say that if IDX is equals to arr.length, you return -1. Otherwise, you compare your current index. If it is equal to X, then you return the current index. Otherwise, you return whatever is returned by the remaining array. That's it. So let's say the value of X is 22. Okay, if you run this code, you can see 22 is present at index 1, although it was present later as well, but you got it out index 1. Let's say if we go for 0, it's at the last index 11. If we go for 90, it's not even present in the array, so you get -1. As simple as that.